could this evolve into some sort of digital feudal system?
This is actually a trend in Web3 right now, is creating guilds instead of companies.
Really?
Where, yeah, because it makes it,
Can you go into that a bit?
yeah. Well, I mean, so it goes back to something we talked about last week, which is DAOs. DAOs are a structure that are an evolution of multi-signature wallets, which allow multiple people to make decisions about shared property, which is essentially what it comes down to. And so if you imagine if you had a cryptographically secure way to share your bank account with everybody on the team, and you are able to issue cryptographically secure shares in the company, right? So you could design a governance not where everybody could write a blank check, but where anytime a check needed to be written, decision makers could do it with the authority of the rest of the guild or the rest of the stakeholders. And that's what we're talking about. It's not necessarily that everybody can write a blank check. It's just that everybody has ownership in the process.
So, and forgive me or correct me if I'm wrong, or if this is not a possibility at all. What I'm hearing is like, I hear what you're saying, but my brain goes to, could this evolve into some sort of digital feudal system where you do have,
It can evolve into anything, really.
well, I'm just saying, because like in a lot of ways, especially with DAOs, if you have if like everybody's decentralized, everybody has a say, and then okay, who's in charge, and then eventually you get the structure where it's like, okay, we need to at least have one person in charge, and then like I could literally see that evolving into and again, I don't know much about it, so it's hard for me to
Well,
put too much stock
the
into
thing
it.
that we know from years of evolved states and evolved corporations is that things hit a wall at scale. And if you have the infrastructure, it's far more efficient to scale out than it is to scale up. And you could take a traditional example of Microsoft's evolution. Actually, not Microsoft's a bad example. Let's talk about like IBM's evolution versus Amazon's evolution. The reason why Amazon is the way it is today, why it is a giant in the IT world, is that Bezos made a rule. And the rule is, if you need something done from the IT department or you need something done from the marketing department, you're not sending an email, you're accessing an API. And your department needs to figure out how to programmatically interface with every other department that you need stuff from. Otherwise, you're not going to get stuff done and your department is going to fail. And so that is why we have programmatic cloud computing from Amazon, is because the IT department developed it that way. And they said, well, it works so well internally, let's offer it to the public. And then they immediately became the biggest cloud provider in the world. And so what Web3 is a decentralized version of Amazon versus IBM, which is a top-down system, which is the old way of designing a corporation. A CEO, a board of directors, or like not a board of directors, but a directorial layer of management, and the middle management, and then workers, right? And so that it works, but the bigger a corporation gets, the slower decision-making gets, and it's hard to turn a battleship around, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas this modular, programmatically interfaced system of Web3 or Amazon's management structure is very Darwinian in a respect, because when systems don't work for the people that are partnered with it, it dies off. Mm. It doesn't see any use, and it goes away, and the pieces of it get absorbed into other parts of other systems. And that's the way Amazon works within its corporate structure, and it's the way Web3 is evolving. It's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that everything in Web3 is a guild. It just means that some things in Web3 are guilds. Some things look very much like startups. Some things look very much like nonprofits.
So to go down the guild framework and liken it to, say, online player games, like, mm-hmm. Does that open it up for a situation like Leroy Jenkins, where you have someone who's just like, F it, let's go, and then they could potentially bring the whole thing down?
Well, no, but it's like a cell structure, right? Things that depend on Leroy might go down, or might see an impact,
Mhm.
but not everything depends on Leroy, because Leroy is only, beholden to his stakeholders and partners.
Mm.
Hence
It's
the
above my head.
hence the
Sorry.
well, it's the
I'm waiting for you to
decentralization.
jump in 'cause
Think of it like these.
he's talking real big.
Well,
real,
think about
real
like
big brain
this
stuff.
this pattern on the wall. These little hexagons here,
Yes.
right? This hexagon only has 6 partners, right? And it is connected to those 6 other shapes that it's connected to. The ones over here are not connected to the ones over here. So
Okay.
if each one of those represents a DAO or a department in a modular organization, there might be an impact over here, but it's really only going to directly affect the ones that it's very closely associated with.
Got it.
Hey, thanks for watching The Merge. We've got a ton more stuff for you to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. Check us out.